Welcome back to a different opinion. Been a couple days since I did a video, but just been really busy with work and all that. So hopefully you guys enjoy what's on there today. I just seen this. It's from 3 hours ago. It's through Microsoft again. US approves $95 million Patriot weapons support for Taiwan. Kind of makes you wonder, like, are they just giving him it? But no, they are selling it to them. But yeah, that's kind of just the example of kind of like a air defensive missile system. But I digress. We'll jump into it. So the U.S. State Department has approved the potential sale to Taiwan of equipment, training, and other services worth $95 million to support the island's defense, in which what would be the third arms package since President Joe Biden took office a year ago. Damn, it's quite a few. The approval covers the training, planning, fielding, deployment, operation, maintenance, sustainment of the Patriot air defense system, and associated equipment, the Pentagon said in a notification to Congress. Well, if it's anything like you guys said about the Afghanistan, weapons and areas and things like that, we all know that's a lie. Because when America, well, aka Joe Biden, pulls out of something or pulls soldiers away, they don't care. All that stuff just gets abandoned, and now the Taliban has it in Afghanistan. All those hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment, which they were supposed to train the Afghanistani, military, it's all gone now. And you heard about the stories. I mean, you know about it yourself. If you haven't, check up on how botched the exit was out of Afghanistan with the American troops. This proposed sale serves U.S. national economic and security interests by supporting the recipient's continuing efforts to modernize its armed forces to maintain a credible defensive capability. The proposed sale will help to sustain the recipient's missile density and ensure readiness for air operations. The recipient will use this capability as deterrent to regional threats and to strengthen homeland defense. China claims Taiwan, a self-ruled democracy, as its own and has been stepping up pressure on the island ever since Tsai Ing-wen was first elected president in 2016. Beijing has not ruled out the use of force to take control of the territory, and in recent years has conducted repeated air sorties into Taiwan air defense zone. And on that as well, they've actually said that they will use force, but we just don't know when. Like the foreign minister and things have actually been on record saying that eventually they will use force if needed to take back their land, which was never actually theirs. Taiwan's always been its own separate entity. So for Beijing to say that, I mean, it makes you worry. And, with all these sales and things like that going on, it just makes you wonder, when's it ever going to boil over? And I'm just hoping not in my lifetime. That's what I hope. Taiwan's presidential office noted this was the third arms sale. Okay. Taiwan will continue to demonstrate its determination to defend itself and to continue to deepen cooperative partnerships with the United States and other like-minded countries. Can you please keep giving us better graphics chips, please? We need that for the computers. There's such a big shortage, even with cars. That's why cars are so expensive now, and why they're so late. Like, so many people I know that have bought new cars recently have to wait 3-4 months for their car. And that's just because apparently it's very highly due to the chips that come from Taiwan being a massive shortage of them, with obviously they need certain parts to be able to create those chips from across the world. Although the US has no formal diplomatic ties with Taiwan, it is bound by law to provide the island with the means to defend itself and is Taiwan's main source of weapons. With the sale, the US is honoring the commitment to support Taiwan under the Taiwan Relations Act and the 6 assurances. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense said in a statement in which it's expressed its sincere gratitude for the deal. The approval does not mean a contract has been signed or the negotiations haven't concluded. Taiwan's Defense Ministry said it expected the deal to become effective within the month. The Biden administration announced its first arm package worth $750 million and involving howitzer artillery systems, in August 2021. The second was $100 million, also for the Patriot system in February. Well, they know if they're going to get invaded from China, it'll be an air onslaught. I mean, look what we've seen with Russia, just how they pretty much in one night, they've already broken through all of their, how do you say it, airborne, defenses systems. So they ran out of rockets within the first, while. I mean, many countries like Australia here, apparently we only have enough rockets to be able to defend one day, possibly 2 days worth of air attacks. Because, I mean, think about how many you'd have to shoot. You'd have to have so many rockets available and in the right places as well. It just makes you wonder. And obviously, at least it shows 750 mil, they're just topping up the whole time. And hopefully it kind of deters China from actually ever trying it. And that leads me into this one here from skynews.com.au, pretty much 21 hours ago. Weapons upgrade does not cut the ice against China. So the Australian foreign editor Greg Sheridan says 70 missiles do not cut the ice in response to Peter Dutton's announcement of a $3.5 billion weapons upgrade as China strengthens ties with the Solomon Islands. This is one thing I hate about our media and, the country here in Australia, is that we keep trying to compare ourselves to, whatever we do. We're trying to be like, but what about China? But what about China? So who cares? China looks at Australia as like a little fly, just with the actual capabilities of it. If we weren't, allied up with America, like, there'd be no hope for us at all. And for us to constantly be like, oh, China, it's like, mate, like, they have a 7%, what's a budget for their military over there in China. And you could imagine 1.4 billion people, military budget, 7%, it absolutely craps on Australia's. And the amount of soldiers they have, I don't know why we've been compared. I mean, I drive past the barracks here in Townsville all the time, and like, to me, it just looks like you'd be able to literally, the plane could fly over and bomb that place. It's the dumbest fences. There's no protection. I mean, not that long ago, there was actually people actually broke into there because all they did is they stole a cop car, drove to the actual front, turned the lights on, they opened up the gate for him, and I think they ended up crashing the car in there and everything like that. And it just shows how easy it is to break into Australia's biggest military barracks. See a couple ships here. I reckon all up, once everything is done and dusted, we'll be able to deploy about 75 long-range missiles against China at any one time. Are we really going to keep China at bay with 75 missiles? No. It wouldn't even touch like anything. I mean, do you know how massive China is? I've been to Guangzhou, which is the most southern city, and like, I mean, that's so far away from Beijing and stuff. And 75 missiles, why are we even saying, deploy long-range missiles against China? This is like war talk. Like, why are we talking like this when China's like literally not even said we're going to bomb Australia or anything? Like, we need to stop trying to be in this war talk. For me, like, too many people are, agreeing with war and thinking that it's a good option. Like, war has never been a good option. The amounts of millions of people that die, the only time, like, you'd think it is a good thing to do is when people are just being murdered for no reason at all and you're just being killed. So you might as well fight them because you're going to get killed anyway. So, but if it's not affecting you, then you don't understand what war actually does to people. I mean, you look at the countries that go through war, they're in Eastern Europe, like, they're still recovering. And most of their wars were back in the 90s. And they're still recovering now, 20 years later. It just shows you if, your country goes through a war, it takes over a generation to recover from it, and the amount of people you lose. And it's just, yeah. And we're complaining about fuel now. Imagine the cost of living during an actual war that your country is involved in. It'll be ridiculous. So I think it's just a lot of people need to do research, look at, a lot of documentaries like Band of Brothers. There's a really, really good one, which is like a TV show based on true stories of people from World War II And man, it's amazing. That 9 out of 10 for me. Like that was one of the best shows like I've ever watched, and it just kind of gets you into the grit of showing you how stuff like real life war actually is, and how it affects people, and a lot of people PTSD, or you go without food for like 4 or 5 days. Read up on the Napoleon's attacks in Russia as well. The amount of people that just starved to death or would get trampled into mud and just die because they can't get out and no one can help them because of the mud, like there would be in Ukraine right now. So that's why everything's sticking on the roads. No one's going into the mud because you go in there, you're stuffed. Especially if you all your gear on, that's 30, 40 kilos, so 60 pounds of weight you got to carry with your gun, your backpack, your sleeping gear, your food, all that type of stuff. So I think it's just we're so out of touch of what war actually does to people and to how it actually affects you. And for us to just be sitting behind a computer and that type of stuff and thinking life would be fine, it's like, no, I'd love to keep playing computer games. I'd love to keep doing videos like this without having to worry about being bombed or my normal life being affected by it. But yeah, in that same sense, I think we do need to be a bit more autonomous and not have to rely constantly on, what's in the supermarket, what do we have here, what do we have there. So it's always a thing to look at, grow vegetables, things like that. But I digress. I'm hoping we stop trying to talk about China. I hope Taiwan and China never ever boil over. And if it does, I mean, hopefully it's peacefully. As long as they don't actually kill people, things like that, then I'd rather it that way than a war. And other countries because China gets into a war with Taiwan, America gets involved, Australia is straight away involved. And we're not that far away from China. And their military capabilities, they have a lot of, I'm not sure what they actually call them, but it's those ships that can have actual planes on them and everything like that, attacking planes. They have more of them than we do. I don't even think Australia even has one, I think. So they would just sail on down, pretty much. Their military is way bigger than ours, fly the planes over, bomb every city that needs to be bombed, bomb all the buildings, military buildings, and there you go. They're already running over us. But I digress. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. You think it'll ever boil over, and what do you think of war? Like really, like, do you think it's a great thing? Do you think it's just the most horrible thing in the world? Let me know. If you do like the video, just leave a like or subscribe if you want to see the future ones, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.